Hi there, and welcome to the show. My name is Paula Fiscal. Today we have a very special guest by the name of Dr. Elnora Tina Webb, who is the president of Laney College in Oakland, California. This will begin the series of the educational leaders in the Bay Area for my show. You can catch this show on Sundays at 3 o'clock p.m. on Channel 29, or you can also look at all the shows on YouTube. So again, welcome, Dr. Webb. We look forward to hearing from you. And please, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. It's an honor to be here with you, Paula. I am so proud. As the president of Laney College, I had the opportunity to work with a diversity of individuals in excess of 500 faculty, classified staff, and administrators. Yet I began this journey many years ago, 37 years ago, as a tutor, and I moved into teaching a little bit after serving as an outreach officer, and before I knew it, I was a manager at Stanford University in Human Resources and went on to UC Berkeley because I wanted to make a difference in higher education in more profound ways. And there I found my calling, if you will, as a result of taking advantage of the Community College Leadership Program, with the broader emphasis in higher education policy and administration. And then I walked across the campus. I just danced across the campus to get more and was admitted into the Haas School of Business, Organizational Behavior and Labor Relations program. What a remarkable asset that program was as a complement to my studies in the School of Education. And over the 10 years, I conducted research with a team of folks looking at community college teaching and leadership across the country. And voila, I'm at Laney College in 2002 and moved from dean to VP and now president. So it's been a wonderful journey.
It certainly does sound like a good journey. And if you had to name a couple of people or name a couple of influencers in your life that assisted you in getting to this pinnacle in your career, who might that be?
You know, Paula, I'm asked that question more frequently recently, and yet there are many people. I can't think of one individual. As you know, I was reared in foster homes, at least 6 that I'm aware of. And each one of those adults, because I knew I wasn't there permanently, they influenced me. I paid attention to them. I needed to understand who they were, what they were going to do for whatever period of time I was there. So they were significant influencers. This one woman in particular, Odessa Wills Carr, tall, statuesque, beautiful, black Native American, classic. When she walked in the room, people stopped. She was over 6 feet tall. But what she taught me was that you have to recognize that the world is much more complex than may meet the eye, and that people are likewise. And the only way that you know that you understand people is through being able to understand the world and see it through their own colored lenses. In other words, listen for understanding. Seek to be understood only after you seek to understand other people. Engage in a more transparent way. So she was one of the many people who I vicariously learned about how to lead, how to engage, and how to be respectful and responsible. But I'm lucky. I had a lot of folks directly and indirectly influence my life, and she was one.
That's a wonderful story, Dr. Webb. I like that. Now, if you had to tell us how your community or your family was supportive of you, and how did you overcome any obstacles from your community or your family because of your being a woman or also a minority?
Well, it's interesting. I, like you probably, and many of us, as a African American, as a Black, Native American, Latina, there was expectations of me that typically were low. And so when I would ask questions about pursuing math education, undergraduate, the response was, oh, don't worry about it. McDonald's is down the street, as opposed to going to college. I didn't waver. I didn't understand the response. For the individual who stated that to me did not know I was already working for McDonald's. So go figure. Or when I said I'm interested in pursuing this particular a career position at Stanford University, and a vice president of a university who valued me deeply said, "Oh, they don't hire blacks, especially black women." And I, interesting enough, asked that question after I was already hired at Stanford. So for whatever reason, there are a lot of folks who don't have high aspirations of individuals who look like me. And what I say to those who look like me and others, follow your passion. Recognize that life is not about what other people perceive. It's really about who you are and what you have the capacity to do. And so I've leveraged those folks who were naysayers. In fact, they've served as catalysts for me to engage more deeply. And I respect their sincere consideration for me, even though they were saying no more often than they were saying yes. But I am lucky. I've had many brothers and sisters, and I have 43 nieces and nephews now, remarkable young people. And it's been my honor to lead by example and to love them unconditionally. And I'm lucky that I'm in a profession where I'm able to do that on a regular basis with other people's children who I consider to be an extension of my family. So it's an honor to serve as an educator and to leverage those who purposely choose to be supportive, and even those who are detractors to the capacity that I and others have, because we can leverage them too.
So in other words, there were just a few strategic influencers in your life, and we're glad to hear about how some of those naysayers did not put a stop to your career climb. Now, I understand also that you do some work on the national level with the Obama administration. Can you share with our viewers some details on these programs?
Yes. In fact, I want to begin by acknowledging some key individuals like Pat Cross, retiree of UC Berkeley, who also retired from Stanford University, Norton Grubb, Glenn Carroll, Bob McCabe. I can go on. These folks who are leaders on a national stage, and actually a couple of them on an international stage, they believe that you lead by example. And so when I think about Obama and what he chose to do, he didn't have to. He said community colleges are an antidote. They're a solution to what ails us in this country in terms of economic and workforce development. So we need to leverage them more. And they're low-cost resources for many people who would otherwise not have access to higher education. And then he said, let's look at the career and technical education programs that they offer. So Laney College, Peralta Community College District more broadly, and many of our community colleges have leveraged that leadership stance. And so we're taking advantage of the offerings that his administration has provided through the Department of Labor, through the National Science Foundation, through the Department of Education, to bring in more resources to support at Laney our manufacturing, industrial and advanced manufacturing programs, our construction trades, in carpentry, construction management, welding, our electricity, electronics control. We're now a National Center for the National Science Foundation. It's remarkable because of our building automation program. These are the kinds of exceptional opportunities we have to meet an unmet need in our community for viable, life-sustaining career opportunities because of the quality education. So I am very pleased to be part of this whole agenda nationally. That's a resurgent. And not since the Truman administration has there been a president who's invested so much talk and also resources in revitalizing our community colleges and career technical education programs in particular. So it's an honor.
Yes, it sounds like you did a really, really good job of tapping into the whole funding process.
Yes.
Because I understand that you need to have grant approval, and so can you share a little bit about how that process now has changed for you?
Well, what's interesting is that we from this kind of the sense of siloed, isolated way of engaging as a college. We're part of 112 community colleges in California and 72 districts. That's remarkable. In my district alone, there are 4 colleges, remarkable. And what we've recognized is that in partnership is where we can leverage the limited resources. So we've brought in about $15 million in just a very short period of time. Not a lot of money, but when you had very few dollars to innovate, to make a remarkable difference, those dollars go very far in terms of technology, making certain that we are state of the art, that we're responsive to business and industry demands now, not in the future, that their students are in demand now because of their highly technical skills, leaving with no less than $25 an hour earning power to $100,000 a year starting off, whether they had a high school diploma or not because of the technical skills. So I started by saying we moved from these isolated colleges to working in partnerships. So we have the Career Pathways Trust, a regional initiative that was supported by the state of California, our chancellor's office. Our chancellor at the state level is a remarkable man. We have other initiatives that are about making certain that individuals like you and I, who are younger, who may not know that there's opportunities, blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Pacific Islanders, whites, native, and even foreign-born, see possibilities to within 6 months, within a year, within 2 years, to move from where they're at, ideally high school grads, but even if they're not high school grads, into life-sustaining career positions because of the technical access or the access they have to high-quality technical education.
Can you offer some advice to young people who want to enter the world of academia, such as yourself?
Follow your passion. If you love the idea and feel comforted by inspiring others, choose education. If you are interested in ongoing learning about how individuals actually learn, brain research to pedagogical or practices, instructional methods, pursue education. If you have a desire to really inform the nature of the community and inspire people to be engaged in civic ways, responsible ways, consider education. Whether it's K through 12 or 4-year, 2-year institutions, we need people who have a passion for learning, who have a passion for facilitating learning, because that's what quality educators are. They are coaches. They are facilitators. They're not just sages on the stage. Some are great sages on the stage. But at the end of the day, to facilitate student success, we have to care. We have to care unconditionally. We have to nurture, and nurture in a way that's not necessarily a kumbaya experience. It may be for some, but it's really about listening for understanding, responding to the needs of that individual in a way that is transformative. We know when we get to the heart of the individual, understand him or her, we have the capacity to do, you can call it the Great Spirit's work, God's work, life's work. That's absolutely remarkable for the community. What do we care about at the beginning and the end of the day? We care about our community. And the health and well-being of our community, and I mean that broadly, is really critical. And to be educated, to think critically, to be able to exercise one's voice in a responsible, respectful way with integrity is what education is about. So join me in that whole quest to help to transform lives in responsible and respectful ways.
That's wonderful, Dr. Webb. And I also understand that you most recently received an award from the Alameda County.
The County of Alameda. Yes.
You were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Can you tell us about this?
Well, I am so honored. There are a lot of women who make profound differences in our society. And Paula, you're one. I hope you know that. And I know that from your sister.
Thank you, Dr. Webb.
And I happen to be one of 12 women in the County of Alameda who were inducted this year into the Hall of Fame because of our contribution. And there are different categories. I was inducted in the education category. There are women inducted in the finance category, in healthcare, in social justice. And I got to tell you, I was honored, and I am honored to be among those inductees. This is an annual recognition during Women's History Month. And what key thing I can say is that there are a number of women like you and I who make a difference every day. And I hope that I best represent you, so many of you who care in your homes, in boardrooms, in offices,
I'm
in the
glad you
community.
mentioned the word boardrooms, because I also see here that you're faculty with the University of California at Berkeley's Executive Academy.
Indeed.
Can you tell me what you do in that academy?
Well, let me say there's an extraordinary woman by the name of Dr. Josie Baltodano, Josephina Baltodano. She is a retiree twice, and yet she's not retired. She leads the Executive Leadership Academy at University of California at Berkeley. It's a remarkable program. We bring men and women from across the United States who are talents. They are currently lead faculty members, professors. They are provosts. They are vice presidents. They are deans. What they are all also individuals who have the capacity to be leading our universities, our community colleges across this nation and beyond. And there are some individuals who come as far away as the continent of Africa, Europe, Asia, and elsewhere. And what we do within that program, the leadership among the faculty at UC Berkeley and others from across the country, we convene, we expose them to best practices, effective practices, how to prepare to serve in a leadership role. What does that mean in terms of vision, mission? What does it mean in terms of technical competencies? What does it mean in terms of leading individuals who are brilliant, who are smart, who are diverse? What does it mean to ensure diversity in those workplaces so that, in fact, we best reflect the community? What does it mean to prepare individuals to lead organizations with integrity, with the financial acumen, with the political acumen? And I want to speak to politics because many people think politics is inherently bad. Politics is inherently not good or bad. It's relationships. And so we're all engaged in politics. And the degree to which we engage in respectful ways that has all other positive values, we help to make transformative contributions, and I mean that, contributions that are transformative to the way we live. We have some real critical issues in this society, on this planet. And the degree to which we engage in healthy relationships to begin to deal with them systematically, honestly, leads to greater results. And so that's what that program is about. It's about looking at how to prepare people, how to inspire people, and how to provide folks with the network, if you will, that will stay with them for the rest of their career, so that as they're moving forward, a Joe Castro, who's now at the president of a wonderful university, the University of California, Fresno, who went through that program, I think he was part of the first cohort, genius of a spirit. He was in various other roles. He's now the president. He gained extraordinary competencies that prepared him for that. Now, that is a Latino brother with all kinds of assets, but he wasn't told that when he was younger. And luckily, there was an executive leadership academy that saw his talents, pulled out of him more of what he always had, and now he's in that leadership role. Well, that's what that program does.
Well, that was a very interesting summary of this program. I'm really happy to hear this, and I'm glad that our viewers have had an opportunity to hear about this program. Now, I also see that you are on the Oakland Chamber of Commerce and Business. As people know, when they watch my program, I always like to have a little touch of business here. So how about sharing with us some of what you do with the Oakland Chamber of Commerce?
Well, Oakland Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce. First of all, I have an opportunity to be part of many of the chambers in Oakland and to support their efforts with the Hispanic chambers, the Chinese chamber, the Vietnamese chamber, the African American Chamber of Commerce, as well, and I'm on the board for the Oakland Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce, of which we're in partnership with all those other chambers. What we do is we are a voice for business and industry. We're also a voice for nonprofit organizations and increasingly for educational organizations. And I'm a representative of the educational organizations. We believe that in partnership, we actually create the kind of community and sustain the healthy aspects of the community that leads to more viable economic development. But it's more than that. Why do we need economic development? It's really a gateway, a precondition to being able to ensure that folks who would otherwise not have access to quality health care, have access to quality, access to employment, indeed have that. So we're about the business of bringing more larger employers to Oakland so that we have more opportunities for young people and adults who have highly qualified, I mean, they're technically competent, and yet they're very limited opportunities. So that's my role, is to be additive in that whole journey of bringing in more businesses and responding to the needs of the community.
And once again, you've moved us into our next question very nicely. The Alameda Health Systems Foundation.
Oh,
You're
wow.
also a board member there. Now's your chance to talk about health issues.
Let me say, I think many of us are aware of the health disparities that exist for African Americans. And regrettably, in so many indicators, African Americans are not at parity. There's a major gap in terms of health care access, as well as the health and well-being of African Americans. We can say that again about poor people in general, Latinos, whites, Southeast Asians, especially many recent immigrants. And we've got a largest concentration of urban Indians in the country, and we can certainly say that about Native Americans. So what does Alameda Health Systems Foundation do? We're about the business of working in partnership, identifying more resources to support our healthcare institutions, Highland Hospital, and the many clinics throughout the county of Alameda. And we're working in partnership with the county of Alameda itself, the county healthcare organizations as well. So we're about the business of making certain that there's more resources to right size and make accessible quality healthcare where people are at. People have difficulty in terms of getting to locations. Well, the degree to which we provide clinics in their home, in their residential communities, ensures there's access.
All right, and now we're going to swing right back to your work as the board director on the Community College League of California.
You did your homework. Wow. Now that's another remarkable board. I'm lucky. I am on a regular basis surrounded by genius of spirits. These folks who care so deeply. I mean, there are hundreds of people that I'm working with on a monthly basis, and there are thousands of folks throughout our county, and certainly in Oakland alone, who care deeply and passionately in the way that I do, if not more so. So with the state CEO board, we are responsible for representing all of the CEOs in the state of California. But more broadly, we are responsible for representing all 112 community colleges and working in partnership with our league office, who work on legislation, work directly with our key partners, senators, Congress folks, to make certain that legislation support higher education, but also legislation support K through 12. Our focus, of course, is narrowly on community colleges, but we get to influence the other areas of education as well. And then we have a remarkable partnership with our Chancellor, Bryce Harris, I'm very proud to state, as well as the Chancellor's office staff, who are remarkable and all about the business of ensuring that our institutions are much more effective in serving the community. Some of you may know that we had about almost 3 million students in the California Community College system, 2.9 million by fall 2009. It's now closer to 2.3. Why did that happen? It happened for a myriad of reasons, but we know that we have, because of the economic crisis that occurred over the years and challenges from many of our institutions, we know that there's at least 1 million individuals out there who need our institutions. And we want you to know that we're back open for business, folks. Please take advantage of our institutions, whether you're in our East Bay, in Oakland in particular, whether you're here in San Francisco, whether you're in San Jose, whether you're in San Diego. We need you to leverage our institutions because it's really about you. And the degree to which you take advantage of us, we're more responsive to you. And the degree to which we're more responsive to you, we know collectively, you and I, we are better responsive to our communities.
Dr. Webb, I also want to wish you congratulations on being a finalist for Chancellor of the Peralta Community College District. Now, this has been a very public process. In the old days, everything was done behind closed doors. Do you feel that this transparency gives women and minorities overall a better chance to level the playing field?
First of all, I am very honored to be among 4 finalists. And this district is quite remarkable, and that's why I look forward to leading and being the lead and working in partnership with our extraordinary board and the faculty, staff, and administrators of the district. So since you mentioned this, yes, we are open, and it's critical that all these processes be open. And as a public institution, we are by design an open, and we make things transparent. We care about the community knowing who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing what we're doing, so that the community can actually assess the efficacy of our ability or how well we're doing in responding to their needs. So the community is weighing in. The community has an opportunity to weigh in on the next chancellor of the Peralta Community College District.
Dr. Webb, thank you so much for joining us today. And if you have any comments, or if you'd like to give your email to have people reach you, this is your chance to do this.
Well, wow. My email is E for Elnora, Webb, W-E-B-B, at Peralta, P-E-R-A-L-T-A, .edu. You're welcome to check us out at Laney College, laney.edu. What I'd like to say to the viewing audience, and I'd like to say to anyone who ever sees this, remember that education is really all about you. It's not about you learning some things that you may put on the shelf later on. It's about edifying you, your spirit, your essence. It's about enabling you to be your best self, to understand your capacity. And so that's what we're about in our community colleges. That's what we're about at Laney College and in the Peralta Community College District. And that's what all the community should remind those of us whenever we disconnect from that mission in providing you with the pathways to get to the career of interest, whether it's directly or through our four-year transfer opportunities to the University of California, to the California State Universities, to the private institutions in and outside of California. It's an honor to be here with you, Paula, and to have had an opportunity to share some words, some insights.
Thank you so much, Dr. Elnora Tina Webb. And for those of you who have a chance to watch this show on Sundays at 3 o'clock p.m., please do so. And if you miss it, you can always go on to YouTube, load in Paula Fiscal Show, and remember to subscribe, and you'll get notices of all of our new guests. And if you'd like to reach me with an issue or a topic that interests you, paulafiscal@gmail.com is my email, and my Twitter account is Paula C. Fiscal. Again, thank you so much for joining us.